Our very first introduction to CSS is going to be through Dreamweaver's page properties. It has a couple of options for designing elements on the page, such as your background color, your font type, your font color, and your link look. Um, Most of the time, though, after this, I'm going to ask you to start writing your own CSS, but this is a great way to sort of just jump in and get started with CSS. So I have my properties panel open, and right now it's blank. That's because I've clicked into a blank spot in my code view. If I click into different spots, and if I had images, you would see this would change. It shows up again. So we are looking for this button, Page Properties. So again, make sure you're not clicked off of it. You want to be clicked in some content, and then you'll see Page Properties. You can also find Page Properties for under File, Page Properties. So click on this button, and it opens up a pop-up window, and we have two sections here where it has a category and then it has the settings we can set for that category. So our first category is appearance, and it actually has appearance two times, HTML and CSS. We are only interested in the one that says CSS. So the things that we can change here will automatically become CSS, so that means it's going to show up between the head tags in our code. So the things we can set, the page font. Let's just choose a font. And I'm going to talk at another point about why this comes as groups of fonts. So I'm just going to choose a font type, and I can choose if I want it to be normal, italic, so on and so forth. I'm going to say normal, and I'm going to choose a size. I'll choose 14, and then the color for my text. And I'm just going to keep it at black, and then a background color. So I don't know, I'm just going to put in some kind of warm color here. So I get the color picker. This is just like Photoshop. You can slide this up and down, and then you pick your color you want here, and then you click outside, and it applies. Background image we're not going to talk about. If I want to see what this looks like, I can hit the apply button, and I can see the results here in my design view. So I can see what that font looks like, and what my background color looks like. And so far it's okay. Nothing too exciting, but it's fine. And we can talk about in a second what was added over here in the code. At the bottom, you have a section for margins. And this is, so imagine this, that this is like your text on a page of paper, and you want to have your margins around the edges here. That's exactly what this is. It'll move all of your content over or down, however, whichever margin that you adjust. So typically we don't want things to be on the upper left corner. That's what I call has upper leftitis. So I'm going to put it in a margin on the left side of 100 pixels. PX was the automatic unit, and that was for pixels. And on the top also 100. And hit apply. And now it gave me some space, so I don't have total upper leftitis. Okay, I'm done here in the appearance. I'm going to skip this appearance category, and I'm going to go to the links category. Now this will only work if I have links on my page, and I do have links. Remember these ahref, those are links. So I can choose, do I want to have this as the same font as the rest of my text? Do I want to have it as the same size, or do I want it to be something different? I think, let's just for the sake of argument, I'm going to make it a little bit larger. I can hit apply so I can see what that looks like. That's a little bit larger. And I don't like the link colors being default blue. So there are four options here: link color, rollover link, visited link, and active link. You have to set all four of these, even if you want them always to be the same color, because if not, browsers will put in a default color. My default color was blue, and the default active link color is purple. So link color is just the way that it looks on the page when you first open the page. Rollover is when you put your mouse over it. Visited is once you return to that page and you've already clicked on that link, and active is the moment that you click on it. Personally, I never put active as a separate color. You're welcome to, but I find that no one really pays attention. So I'll make my link color something a little bit different, so it does stand out, but maybe it's not quite as that typical blue color. So I'm going to make it kind of like a dark brown. I can hit apply if I want to see what that looks like, and I can see the result here. When I roll over it, I want it to turn white. You can pick whatever colors you want. Visited, I'm fine with it being the same color as this was. So I'm just going to paste that in. And the same thing with active. Even if you want it to be the same color or different colors, you have to set all 4 of these stages. And I'll hit apply. And so now headings. I do have some headings on my page. The restaurant, all of these, remember, are headings. So do I want them to look the same? They could have different colors, they could have different fonts, different sizes, so on and so forth. I'm going to just choose for my heading 1, I'm going to make that one, let's see, is it already 36? Yeah, I'm going to make it 36, so it's really a lot larger. But I'm going to keep the color the same. If you want, you could go ahead and change the color. So the only adjustment I'm making is that I'm changing the font size. If I don't set anything here, it's just going to take on the attributes of the rest of my text. And that's it. We're not going to go into title or tracing, so I'm going to click OK. And now let's look at what Dreamweaver added in between my head tags. So there's my opening head tag. First of all, it added this tag called style. Style type equals text / CSS. And at the bottom, I have a closing style type. So it's not just enough to put the CSS in the head tag, it actually has to be within the style tag. Then I have these other tags, and this is something I'm not crazy about Dreamweaver, is it gives me a little bit of duplicates. See how it says body here and it says body there? I really don't like to have 2 tags that are the exact same. So we'll talk about how to trim that up. But first, let's just talk about the syntax. So the way CSS is written is we have the HTML tag that we're targeting. Body refers to everything within here. A link, A visited, A hover, A active. Those are the 4 different states of our link. And H1 refers to our H1 tag. TD and TH we're not using. We can just go ahead and delete those. Then what it does is it gives us the attribute that we're going to apply to the tag and then how we're applying it. So this is the color. So on my body, so again, like the whole content, I added a margin of 100 pixels on the left and a margin on the top of 100 pixels. To my link, I made all my links 16 pixels. I made the initial link when you see the page open this color, and then when it's visited this color, when it's hovered. So you get the idea? So we have the HTML, you have an open curly bracket, then you have the attribute separated by a colon, and then the how you're changing or what specific about that attribute, such as a color, then a semicolon. And then if you have others, it continues down, and it all gets wrapped in a closing bracket. So you are going to write all of this by yourself eventually, but for the very beginning part, I'm going to let you use the page properties to add the CSS, but you really need to pay attention to the syntax of how this is written, so that way you'll feel comfortable once you start writing them yourself. So what I would like you to do is to go to your other pages, and if you want first just to kind of play with things, go into the page properties and try different styles, but eventually what we want is a uniform look. So for your homework assignment, you're adding 2 more pages onto Black Goose, and all of the pages need to have all of these things, the background color, the font, the links, the headings, everything styled here. So I'm going to be looking to see that you have used the page properties. But don't make every page look completely different. That wouldn't look really good. You could have some subtle differences if you want, like maybe this H2 could be a different color on every page. But basically, you're going to do a lot of just repeating of the same CSS on the other pages, and so that everything has a uniform look.